Today on NewsWatch, damage control for the Donald. Republican leaders hoping to help him focus on his true opponent. So how much trouble is Trump really in? Plus, the failed nuclear deal with Iran 1 year later, what it means for the safety of Israel and the world. And religious freedom under fire, how one state is trying to force Christian schools to change their biblical beliefs or else. And thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. A week full of post-convention controversies involving Donald Trump as GOP leaders on damage control. Now come reports of a planned intervention, an effort to get the Republican nominee to change his approach. Meanwhile, Hillary Rodham Clinton continues to lead Trump in the polls. Caitlin Burke has the story.
GOP leaders have a message for their candidate. Get it together fast.
You have one person to attack, Hillary Clinton. Don't run against the world.
He has got to find a way to slow down, really learn some new lessons. I mean, this is a little bit like The Apprentice.
Those warnings coming after a series of post-convention controversies for Trump, including his decision not to give a primary endorsement for House Speaker Paul Ryan or Senator John McCain, and his feud with the parents of a fallen Muslim American soldier. The continued missteps resulting in a phone call from the head of the RNC, Reince Priebus, who expressed frustration with the direction of Trump's campaign. Trump's camp sees the events of last week differently. Campaign chairman Paul Manafort telling Fox News that Trump's campaign is focused and moving forward. The candidate himself echoing those sentiments Wednesday at a rally in Florida.
The campaign is doing really well. It's never been so well united. Right now, it's the best in terms of being united that it's been since we began.
But Hillary Clinton is leading by up to 10 points in the polls after the recent Democratic convention and Trump's problems. And she's taking every opportunity she can get to slam her opponent.
I really would like him to explain why he paid Chinese workers to make Trump ties.
Still, there is some good news for Trump. His campaign brought in $80 million in July, helping him close the cash gap with Clinton. Trump still clearly has ground to make up in the polls, but with 3 months to go until voters cast their ballots, anything can still happen in this wild election year. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
A transit police officer in Washington, D.C. is facing terror charges after officials say he tried to help the Islamic State. Agents arrested 36-year-old Nicholas Young Wednesday in an FBI sting. Prosecutors say Young had been under surveillance for years. He was finally arrested after buying nearly $250 in gift cards to help the Islamic State terrorists buy mobile apps to facilitate communication. Young is the first law enforcement officer in the U.S. to be charged under the federal terrorism statute. A man has gone on a stabbing spree in the heart of London, killing an American woman and wounding 5 other people. A British paper reports the attacker was a 19-year-old of Somali descent. Police say mental health may be a factor in the case, but they're also investigating whether terrorism is a possible motivation. Nigeria's Boko Haram has a new leader, and he's threatening to bomb churches and kill Christians in the area. In an interview published by the Islamic State, the new leader says he will end attacks on mosques and focus on Christian regions. In the past, the group has attacked crowded Muslim marketplaces and kidnapped and killed school children. Nigeria's president is working with multinational forces to fight the group. Meanwhile, President Obama is assessing the fight against the Islamic State in Libya. He will meet with the military and national security advisors to discuss a new approach at defeating the group. ISIS has released a new issue of its online magazine, and it's titled Break the Cross. It includes an article called Why We Hate You and Why We Fight You. The writer includes several points, including, we hate you first and foremost because you are disbelievers. You reject the oneness of Allah, whether you realize it or not. By making partners for him in worship, you blaspheme against him, claiming that he has a son. And at the end, he says, the fact is, even if you were to stop bombing us, imprisoning us, torturing us, vilifying us, and usurping our lands, we would continue to hate you, because our primary reason for hating you will not cease to exist until you embrace Islam. Now you can read more about how ISIS says Christians and Jews have twisted the divine revelation of Islam on Dale Hurd's blog. That's at cbnnews.com. The blog is called Heard on the Web. The Global Financial Action Task Force issued a warning about Iran laundering money to terrorists just 1 month after the Obama administration gave $400 million in cash to the Iranian regime. The U.S. is a member of the FATF. It is the global standard-setting body that combats the financing of terrorism. The task force told its member states, due to continuing terrorist financing threat emanating from Iran, jurisdictions should consider possibly additional safeguards or strengthening existing ones. The Obama administration has made a deal to pay Iran $1.9 billion as back payment for a deal from the 1970s. The U.S. and 5 other powers signed the controversial nuclear deal with Iran just over a year ago. Supporters say it will prevent Iran from getting a nuclear bomb. But as Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem, critics still warn it could actually have the opposite result and allow Iran to build nuclear weapons instead.
Please have a seat.
U.S. President Barack Obama hailed the deal as a diplomatic breakthrough when it was signed.
After 2 years of negotiations, the United States, together with our international partners, has achieved something that decades of animosity has not: a comprehensive long-term deal with Iran that will prevent it from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
Despite the praise by President Obama and others, 1 year later, some experts still warn that the flaws within the agreement could mean that instead of preventing the Persian nation from building a nuclear weapon, it could lead to a nuclear Iran, with potentially catastrophic results for Israel, the Middle East, and even the United States itself.
Their major goal in this negotiation was to get maximum sanctions relief in exchange for absolute minimal nuclear concessions. And that's basically what they got with this deal.
Emily Landau, an Israeli nuclear expert, believes Iran won the negotiations. It can walk away from the deal at any time. And the agreement failed to address Iran's ballistic missile program.
Their biggest victory is not having their breakout capability destroyed, undermined, dismantled. Not only that, they gained legitimacy for their uranium enrichment.
Throughout the negotiations, the Obama administration presented a narrative that said if you don't support the deal, you're for war. They also presented Iranian President Rouhani as a moderate. Former CIA official Claire Lopez believes the administration wasn't honest with the American public.
We're looking at a real coordinated effort to deceive the American people about this deal while not even touching on the covert program, which of course is where the weapons development is really going on, literally underground in bunkers and tunnels under mountains.
Lopez cites the now infamous New York Times Magazine article. In it, national security official Ben Rhodes said they used the media as an echo chamber to help push its argument to the public in the U.S.
Trying to sell all of that package of goods through duplicity and deceit, but using a very agreeable, a very complicit media in the United States is what that echo chamber was all about.
While the deal puts restraints on Iran for 10 or 15 years, Landau says they don't mind.
Looking at the long term, which is what Iran does, they've kept their breakout capability, even if they have to wait out 10 to 15 years till the sunset clause comes into effect, and all these restrictions that we're talking about, whether they uphold them, whether they violate, everything will be lifted, and then they will be much better positioned in any case to move towards a nuclear weapons capability.
While ISIS has seized the headlines in the West, Landau and Lopez believe Iran remains the far greater danger.
A country that can develop intercontinental ballistic missile capabilities that could, maybe within 10 years even, reach the United States, obviously we're talking about a different order of magnitude.
No comparison at all. The threat from the Iranian regime is existential, particularly as regards their nuclear weapons capability and the EMP component of that.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Pope Francis says it is terrible that children are being taught in school they can choose their gender. He made the comment during a recent private meeting with bishops in Poland. He said, quote, "Today in schools, they are teaching this to children, that everyone can choose their gender." The Pope blamed the idea on textbooks supplied by wealthy donors and very influential countries. A Virginia school board can block a transgender student from using the boys' bathroom when school starts next month. The U.S. Supreme Court upheld that position, at least for now. Concerned Women for America CEO and President Penny Nance says schools should not be forced to follow the president's transgender mandate. She said, quote, "This case is a result of yet another Obama administration overreach. To require schools to allow students into any bathroom of their choice is an overstep on legal boundaries." The school board is expected to ask the justices to further intervene in the case later this month. The new hit game Pokemon Go is leading players to the homes of sex offenders. And now New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo has ordered state authorities to ban sex offenders from playing the game to keep them away from children. This comes after numerous news reports revealed the game draws players near to sex offenders' homes at a high percentage of the time. There is no official evidence that sex offenders are using the app to entice children. Coming up, California targets Christian colleges. See who's trying to force them to deny their biblical views and why it affects the entire country. A California bill under final consideration would force Christian colleges to either give up their beliefs on biblical teachings on sexuality or lose state funding. The bill's sponsors say this would protect students from discrimination, but others say what's at stake is the constitutional principle of the freedom of religion. Heather Sells brings us the story.
Margarita Ramirez was able to graduate from Azusa Pacific University thanks to a generous scholarship and state financial aid, known as Cal Grants. But a new bill could prevent students like her from using those grants to attend schools with biblical views on sexuality and gender.
It is precisely students like myself that are going to miss out. This bill isn't taking away money from the schools, it's taking away money from students.
Tens of thousands of students attend Christian colleges in California, and like Ramirez, many receive Cal Grants. In fact, some schools say as many as 1 in 3 of their students receive this aid, which can provide as much as $10,000 a year to students from low-income families.
It's a substantial part of our budget, and we think it could affect us in a very negative way.
A vocal critic of the bill, Dr. John Jackson, is president of William Jessup University, a Christian college just outside of Sacramento.
If this bill becomes law, a student may not be able to bring that aid to William Jessup University unless we change our policies on sexual orientation and gender identity. And it's not a mean-spirited thing. We just are convinced, biblically speaking, that gender matters, that sexuality matters, and that marriage matters.
The bill's sponsor, State Senator Ricardo Lara, says his priority is LGBTQ student safety. Since the federal government decided Title IX would include sexual orientation and gender identity, Lara believes faith-based schools that requested a religious exemption now have a, quote, license to discriminate. In a press release, Lara cites one school that refused to readmit a student who came out as gay during a leave of absence. Other schools, he says, have denied, quote, gender-appropriate housing to transgender students. Shirley Hoekstra, president of the Council for Christian Colleges and Universities, says the bill's sponsors don't have a case.
Never did they go to the Christian college campuses and actually ask for facts. They presumed that people are either expelled or somehow denied admission, which is untrue.
Hoekstra says that while Christian colleges want to work with these students, the schools also must maintain their religious convictions and enforce rules around them. And she takes issue with parts of the bill that would prevent faith-based institutions from using religious beliefs as criteria in admissions and hiring.
If you can't hire the people who are going to teach and administrate according to principles, what difference would it make then if you called yourself a particular religious institution.
Attorney Greg Baylor says the bill threatens to undo the very core and mission of Christian higher education.
The California government is proposing this legislation that would, at the end of the day, force these schools to choose between continuing to participate in state student aid programs and maintaining their religious identity.
If the bill passes this month and the governor signs it, lawsuits are likely that could easily end up at the Supreme Court. At stake, constitutional principles like freedom of religion and freedom of association. This bill could also mean a loss of choice for low-income students, unable to afford to attend a Christian college without state aid.
Some in the state legislature have apparently not understood the public good. Tens of thousands of students that we educate, many students who are first-generation college students, many students of color, many students who come from economically disadvantaged homes.
For now, California's Christian community hopes to educate state lawmakers about the mission of faith-based education, and that keeping their unique worldview will help make California truly diverse. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Up next, the Silver Slugger who wants to be a big hit for God. Mets outfielder Curtis Granderson opens up about what it means to be a living example of what Christ can do. Baseball player Curtis Granderson has been called the friendliest player in the league. Whether he is slumping or he's slugging, the seasoned New York Met always has a smile on his face, and he wants to bring that smile to the faces of others as well. Sean brings us more in this week's Faith on the Field.
Since his Major League debut in 2004, New York Mets outfielder Curtis Granderson has been selected as a three-time All-Star, received the Silver Slugger Award, and earned his way on the 2020-2020 club. That's 20 home runs, 20 triples, 20 doubles, and 20 stolen bases in a single season. That's despite the fact that every year he's gotten off to a slow start at the plate. He says although it's frustrating at times, his faith in the Lord helps him keep his cool.
People go, how come you don't slam your helmet? How come you don't break your bat? How come you're not, yelling and cussing at everybody? That's not going to change anything. The results are what they are. They've happened, they move on, and God will bless him with another opportunity to go out there with a chance to do something different.
Curtis has been a Christian since he was a kid growing up in Blue Island, Illinois.
Christ has always been around my family, from my parents to extended family members. It's always been a part of our life. I think I was baptized probably at the age of 12. Wow. At my grandmother's church, who I actually spoke with today. So it's interesting, that we're doing an interview right now, and I spoke with her today.
Dyer into right center. Granderson on the move.
Curtis began his career with the Detroit Tigers before going to the Yankees and then eventually the Mets in 2014. And he says he has to work on his game daily to perform at his best. But he depends on God to pull it all together.
What do you do to tweak what's off?
Try not to worry too much about what's happened. Understand the process of everything that's happened before. I've had the ability to be blessed with some great coaching staff, some great mentors and coaches that have put me in situations so when time for the ball to be hit to me, to be pitched to me, we've got the hours in, we got the mechanics in. Now we just got to trust it. Trust God to allow me to go out there and do the things that he knows I'm capable of.
In a game where anything can happen, it's also his faith that keeps him pressing forward through the rigorous 162-game regular season.
Obviously, you're going to have ups and downs in the game. You're going to have injuries. You're going to not play the capability that you think you can play to. And the way you respond and how people see that is all from Christ giving me the strength to go out there and understand that things will turn. He has a plan. Just lay it out for him, and the plan will take shape.
Over the years, he's established himself as one of the most generous guys in baseball. In fact, after he started landing endorsements, he asked the companies to give the money and equipment to his foundation, the Grandkids Foundation, as well as inner-city baseball programs.
The initial deals that those companies bring to you, you get paid in some cash, and then you also get paid in merchandise, which is great. So all my friends and family were outfitted in, the best Nike gear, Louisville Slugger batting gloves, Rawling fielding gloves, this, that, and the other. And after the second or third year, I started realizing, well, everybody's got enough stuff, but all the different camps and facilities we go to, I'm constantly getting requests of, hey, we need some gloves, we need shoes, we need this, we need that. So, well, let's just take what we have and switch it over. Don't pay me monetarily, pay me in equipment so we can do that. So it started with them. I'm now with New Balance on the shoe side of things. They've been able to take that, accept it, and run with it.
This season, Curtis is on track to hit another 20 home runs as the Mets try to battle their way back to the Fall Classic. And he says that he understands that none of the fame, awards, or money would have been possible without his relationship with Jesus Christ.
The biggest thing in terms of having a relationship with Christ is realizing that we are here because of Him. And we get to do these things all because of Him and through Him. And some people look at it and say, well, you had more blessings than I did. And that's not necessarily the case. There's always going to be trials and tribulations that we always go through. And there's ups and downs. And the path for you, although it's going to look different on the outside, it's still the same path that God has for all of us.
When people see Curtis Granderson, what is it that you want them to see?
I want them to see someone that has worked hard, didn't take anything for granted, that was very blessed with the opportunities to do some amazing things and tried to take advantage of all the opportunities that were laid out in front of me. If things went one way or the side, try my best to get back on track as soon as possible and be a living example of what Christ can do for you and what Christ has in store for you.
Time for your Thursday Thankful. Hope you'll join me in this prayer of gratitude. Father, I thank you for your grace. It is a grace that repairs. It is a grace that restores and redeems, and I am grateful. With that, remember, His grace is new every morning. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. It is Thursday. Be sure to make it a thankful one.